The showcase was a little terrifying because we don't normally perform in the DJD. We perform in the lecture hall, so being in front of that big a crowd was terrifying, but bringing the work to the stage and being more theatrical was one of the best experiences I've ever had.
We're usually used to doing readings with maybe 70 people max in the lecture hall, but and you kind of know everyone who's going to be there, but being in the DJD, we didn't know who was in the audience.
It was a long and very challenging process. It was something we had no experience with, and we didn't know starting out what we were going to do. The first thing we did was look at the work we had, and we were like, what's good? What do we like? And kind of built it around that.
In the staging and the lighting and everything was to really think about what would be serving the work. We wanted it to be visually exciting because writing and reading is usually a very personal thing.
It's forced me to think, I always write for myself, and I was no longer looking at my writing for me or even for my peers, well, immediate peers.
And it was a challenge to try and work together with the structure of the show because we had to be honest, but at the same time not hurt each other's feelings.
What we were working from scratch. We had nothing to work with, no template to go off of. We were just working off of each other and working with, it was basically just a lot of teamwork and cooperation that went into the work making the project with very little input from any adults or any other parts of the, the faculty. So
this would be the first time anyone kind of outside of the immediate creative writing community had been exposed to what we do. We wanted it to be, as entertaining as we can make it.
I was looking at it for a larger group of people, many of whom I don't know. I don't know the background they're bringing to it. I don't know what they're expecting. And so it's just, you have to look at all of these different aspects and how is your work different thematically with someone else's, but can it still work together?
Really, when we were creating it, it was super collaborative. I feel like we all had a say in what was going on, so I wasn't quite sure what to expect from the end result until we really started rehearsing it. And even the rehearsal ended up being a lot different than the actual performance. But I feel like it all came together really well at the end because all of us are so used to each other and each other's work.
what we had was a blank slate, and I think we really worked well with it, with what we had, with what we were given. But I think in the future, I'm really excited to see what's going to happen with it and what people are going to do and how they're going to respond to it.
Well, the performance, just having a performance aspect involved in reading my work definitely made me more interested in spoken word, which is reading particularly usually poetry with a more performance aspect to it. I had a couple of pieces like that in Showcase, which is something I'd never really done before.
And I feel like it was different than other performances in the way that it was our art that we, no one, directed it or anything like that. It came purely from us, and it was our most vulnerable works, and a lot of students shared some really deeply personal stuff. So I feel like that was one of the scariest parts, but it also made the audience the most open to us. I feel like it was just a very interesting connection that we had with the audience at that point.
The thing with writing is that oftentimes people who aren't in the writing world per se don't really know what to make of certain things, certain poetry that's more abstract, or stories that take a lot of concentration to really access. But with this, everyone from faculty to the youngest students here really showed us incredible support, and everyone was really excited, which made us feel even better about it.